Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Bulletproof for BJJ podcast. I'm JT and I'm here with Joey.
How you guys doing? Thanks for coming.
Man, so much stuff been going on lately.
Bruh, big UFC event a couple weeks back now.
Yeah.
My heart was broken.
My heart was also broken.
Seeing Rob Whittaker lose like that to Dricus. Dricus. He really got the shit beaten out of him by Dricus.
It's tough because I think if you look at Rob Whittaker's history, he's known for being like unknockoutable.
Yeah.
Like he's been kicked in the head, punched in the face. You're
He's taken Yoel Romero's best shots. He'd been
Yeah.
wobbled.
He'd be wobbled.
Yeah.
And then also did not get taken down by Yoel Romero, who was arguably one of the best wrestlers in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, did you see the highlights of like
Him defending
the takedowns?
Yeah. Can I also cop to I was wrong about his doping history? So for people out there who are like, JT argues like a child, I just argue. I mean, reflect on that as you will. I was wrong. I'll admit that.
Guys, this is big. This is big.
But no, I'm just saying
I want you to feel the gravity of this situation.
No, I'm
right
saying
now.
that to appease the trolls because I have also heard that you can be wrong and still hold your opinion, which is until further information prevails.
Guilty until proven innocent.
Listen, I'm digging the archives. I'm going back into like Cuban history.
Spanish, so he can like interpret court documents and shit. Hablo estudiando.
I'll bring up the documents and it will be like all the names omitted and it will be Yoel Romero, how much his blood. No, I was wrong, but I saw a really interesting comment the other day, which was on a powerlifting post, which is tested doesn't mean clean.
No, yeah.
Right? So this is the game.
Yeah.
This is the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was shown that like in 1 year, I think Yoel Romero had like 18 drug tests in 1 year.
Wow.
But the UFC were really trying to.
They're like, surely this.
They're trying to pop him.
Yeah.
They were trying to get him and they didn't, which is impressive. Wow. Yeah. So, dude, Rob Whittaker, super sad. Also, Rob Whittaker, for those of you out there who have no idea, because both of us have trained with him at different stages in his career, he is a lovely guy.
Great guy.
It's terrible to see a good guy go down.
Always. Yeah.
Terrible to also see a jerk win.
I don't know. Dricus comes across as a jerk.
Yeah.
You know, I don't actually know.
Is it just confidence?
Yeah, is he just playing the game really well? Because he got himself into a fight against Rob, and now he's in a fight with Issey.
Right.
Like he really
but he
propelled
had
himself
won.
there by talking shit about Africa. Like he poked the bear.
But it wasn't just talking. Like he's been fighting, he's been winning. You know, like
Did he actually, like, if you look at the path that fighters typically take, did he jump a few spots to fight Rob?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it's not as though he's Chael Sonnen. Like he doesn't have that level of charisma where he can be like outside the top 10 and then get to fight Anderson Silva.
No, but that one thing he did where he's like, hey, I'm the real African here.
Oh, yes.
That was pivotal. Because that just Izzy's like, you got my attention now.
Yeah.
You know? And so it was.
I'm going to drop some N-bombs on you now.
Yeah. You seen that meme?
Meme?
Where it's like, just keep saying the N-word.
He can't say it back to you. Look, it will be a sensational fight. I was heartbroken to see Rob Whittaker lose, but also interesting to see Issey versus Dricus.
Yeah, it will be. I mean, Dricus has that displeasing style like Keith Jardine.
Yeah, awkward.
Just awkward. You're like, oh, this isn't athletically pleasing to my eye.
No.
You know, but he gets the job done, you know, like he's good. He's tough.
He's tough.
So yeah, it will be great to see him fight Issey. I really hope Issey wins.
You'd hope so.
I mean, yeah, I'm whatever, big Issey fan.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan and I've met him and, you know, even though...
When'd you meet him?
I met him at Absolute.
Oh, wow.
I think I mentioned this as like probably 100 episodes ago. I saw him roll with Adam Jones. So the older brother of Craig Jones, not as famous. So
Taller,
Craig
longer?
Jones, he's like 7 foot tall, shaved head, got this sleazy mustache, bigger troll than Craig, like older brother of Craig.
Like a skinny Orlando Sanchez.
Yeah, he's got the tats.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. But no, man, I love Adam Jones, and I saw him whip Israel Adesanya. This is many years ago, but like just own him. And I was like, oh my God. I just walked into the gym and I was like, holy shit. And then Issey came off the mat and I was like, oh, yo, fucking Issey. He's like, oh, hey, what's up, man? Like just very, he was very actually in the gym, very friendly, personable guy. And same thing with Volk. So we want to cross to Volk. Volk with the action.
My impression of Volk is that we will not be able to truly appreciate his greatness until he's gone.
Yes.
I think that, you know, whenever his time as the champion ends and he's like, hey, I'm out, we'll look back. There'll probably need to be a couple more champions, and then we'll look back and be like, oh my God, bro, he was so fucking good. His demeanor just makes him very normal.
Yeah.
Like he's just such a regular guy.
He's a bloke, even if you watch his cooking show.
Yeah. It's either chicken wings or like overcooked steaks.
Just having a barbecue.
Yeah.
Just see how I do it.
So fucking good, man. The way he shut down Rodriguez.
The kick catch.
Yeah.
We're talking about the clip on that.
Yeah. The kick catch to the and cut the angle and just
double,
put him down. But then he used the same. He attacked the same thing to get that finishing shot where or not the finishing shot, but the hook that rocked Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Where he didn't catch the kick though that time, but he did the same thing. I think he might have switched his stance. He threw the inside leg kick to initiate Yair's counter kick and punch.
Boom.
And he slipped the punch, I believe, and then bank.
Yeah.
And knocked him with that hook, and then Rodriguez was all wobbly.
Wobbled.
Then when he gets him up against the cage and he fucking puts that that's the kind of double leg when you're like on fire. It's Tuesday night. You're on fire at Nogi class. You're a blue or purple belt, and there's some white belt that's got a bit of athleticism and they're giving you a hard time, and then you just can turn it on.
Yeah.
And you hit that double leg and you're like, yes.
But go down.
So I saw a meme on that was like Volk literally absorbed Islam's powers of the Dagestani wrestling powers and threw it at Rodriguez.
Dude,
So
I didn't think
good.
it would be that dominant.
No.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was pretty awesome to see.
Yeah, spectac. You know what's so
Please.
about when I was talking with someone about Volk, what's really quite interesting about him is that his style changes from fight to fight.
Yeah,
based
he
on his
evolves.
opponent.
Yeah.
And of course every fighter will sort of tailor their plan to their opponent. But you know, you look at some of the greats, you look at guys like Issey, you look at guys like Anderson Silva, guys like GSP, they kind of just apply their same
and
pattern.
impose their style.
Yeah. Whereas fucking adapts every time. You know, you look at what he did to Holloway.
Yeah.
You look at what he did to Rodriguez. You look at what he done to
He's just beaten everybody at lightweight.
fucking everyone, bro.
Yeah.
You know, or you look at what he did to Makhachev.
Yeah.
Like all very different fights.
fighters.
Yeah.
Yeah, incredible. And also, is a good dude. I met him. I trained with him. He was in a knee brace. I've said this before. Even in it's one of those knee braces where it's fixed. It's like hard plastic, bit of metal, and it's fixed at like 45 degrees.
Right.
Like you can't extend or bend it past this point. He was shooting in on me like at advanced class, at like ADCC class at Absolute. And I was like, I didn't actually really know this is before he was the champ. I just didn't even really know who he was. I actually mistook him for someone else.
Right.
Because I was like, who's this kind of nuggety MMA fighter guy? And I said, are you Geordie Showtime? Who's another MMA fighter who actually doesn't look much like him at all. I just didn't know who he was. He said, nah, mate, Alex Volkanovski. And then I was like, oh, sorry. And he's like, nah, is he good looking? And I was like, not really. He's like, don't worry about it. You know, he was cool, man. He was so cool. And that's the thing. He's still that guy. Like by all reports.
Still trains at that gym
Still
in Fairy
trains
Meadow.
same gym and
If you for our overseas listeners,
Wollongong.
Yeah, he lives down in Wollongong, which is like an hour south here of Sydney. It's another city. It's famous for the ports.
Yes.
And it's famous for steel manufacturing.
Working class.
Yeah, their football team, their rugby league team for many years was the Illawarra Steelers.
Yes.
Like steel factory workers.
Yeah.
And Fairy Meadow, and I don't want to speak out of turn for anyone from that part of town, but I believe that's a very working class part of the Gong.
Yeah.
Or, maybe just outside of.
Yeah.
When I go down and see my parents, often you drive past that gym.
Yep.
It's just a fucking neighborhood gym, right?
Yeah.
It's like martial arts center or whatever.
Yeah, mixed martial arts, yeah.
And of course, Volk looks like, I think he goes and preps in camp with Eugene.
Yeah, he'll be
like-
at City Kickboxing.
In Auckland.
But he does majority of his camp and training there.
And you see it in the embedded and shit. It's him, it's his coach Joe Lopez, and then it's like whoever's kicking around the gym. Like it's not, you compare that to like the
Dudes
the
training
elite-
at UFC performance centers.
exactly,
and
or
all
like
that.
ATT where it's like the elite and there's 50 people on the mats, like all that shit. It's
Yeah.
just like low key, super working class. He's running hills somewhere in his neighborhood. And then going over to wherever he's fighting and being the absolute best in the world.
Yeah, but I think it's also, he is not a tall guy. His background is
He's a shock.
is rugby league,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
He was a 100-kilo dude playing footy, like reserve grade footy.
Yeah.
It's like, take a run at that huge islander. Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Put him
what,
down. Yeah.
what's he afraid of? Nothing and no one. And I think that speaks a lot to his success.
Yeah, he says that, doesn't he? He's like, I've been putting bigger people down my whole career. Like fighting someone that's taller than me is like not a problem.
Nah.
Whereas you always see it, and you're like, oh God, Holloway's so much taller.
Yeah.
Oh God, Rodriguez is so much taller.
Yeah.
Makachev taller. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
He does often have them on the reach. Interestingly.
Yeah, he does
He's got
have very
superior
long
reach.
arms for his height, which is a huge advantage. But no, I think
Very excited about
let's
the
talk about the new wannabe natty king,
Yes.
the advocacy king.
That's right. The great who's he trying to be? Yeah, so I haven't really been up on this too much, but I feel like Gordon Ryan is now like a poster boy for like, hey, we should clean up the sport.
We need to.
You know, it's like, hey, I'm only pumping all this juice because like the competitors, all the other guys are, and so I have to.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, arguably, sure, maybe there is a thing, but it's like, I don't know. Did he say something on some of you where it's like, and this is great. I got a podcast where I'm like half familiar with what he might have said, but
Well, it means you know.
but something about like, hey, if everyone else would go natty, I would go natty too.
Yeah, but I mean, look, you're not here for the facts, are you? You're here for the entertainment, people. Let's be honest. But no, but I think anyone can say that, right? And look, let's compare.
Real
Nogi
Tolos are
jiu-jitsu.
doing it.
Doing what?
Well, you know, yeah.
Well, they're
anyone
like,
can
oh,
say-
we'll jump on the gear.
no, but they are actually like, hey, we're natty, and we're
Yeah.
not changing that, and we're kicking ass.
Yeah, and that's
you know?
true. And yeah, definitely, and full credit to them. I think the difficulty is, and this is the thing that has confronted me about strongman recently, it's not tested. So it's also not against the rules to take steroids and do strongman. You have to be the strongest you physically can. So there's,
Pump some gear.
yeah, that's because there's an inherent advantage there. So yeah, and for the best part, even though Gordon Ryan has competed in IBJJF Worlds and taken double gold for Nogi, which at that time he was probably on steroids too, but didn't get tested, so he got away with that.
He was a lot smaller back then, wasn't he?
Nah, but he's still
still in good
not he's not Hulk level, but sure. But then also so was Cyborg, right? So who's not on the gear? But I think the funny thing is this: you cannot take a position of like, oh, you know, well, I made bad choices because everyone else made bad choices. Like, no, you made your choice. That's cool. Don't blame the responsibility on anyone else. Like I had
Yeah,
to.
it's a bit of a cop
That's
out.
a fucking cop out.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, let's get into all the bad things I want to say about Gordon Ryan. No, let's not do that. But next thing, judo, bro. I did a judo session.
Oh.
Oh my God, my fingers, bro.
We've been
Haven't
talking
done-
about the gear, bro. I told you not to do that anymore.
Dude, I haven't done judo for ages, and I was like, oh, I got to go along. I need to because
How long since you trained it?
probably this is only the third or fourth time this year. I did a little bit at the start and then none since. And you think gi jiu-jitsu is hard on the fingers? Grip breaking, man. I swear nothing is worse than having your strongest grip, whether it's a lapel or anything, and then having another person bigger or stronger than you, or just better at grip breaking, just destroy your grip at full grip. Because you just
When you're fully resisting.
yeah, and then you just like, and my finger's been aching for days.
How are they? So when you grab a collar grip in judo,
Yep.
they can't do 2-on-1, can they? So they
In
go hand-
competition.
in training you can?
Oh, well, like guys who've trained for years are used to doing two-hand grip breaks.
Right.
Yeah.
But even so, when they're like, when you're doing that one where you like tighten your own lapel
Yeah.
and then punch the hand off or something, like
Yeah.
that's basically the same as 2-on-1, isn't it?
Very similar.
What's the primary way that they're breaking your grip when you grab a collar?
What I'm getting is dudes do not like it. You know, it's kind of funny, like the kind of weird wrist lock where dudes pummel over, pummel under.
Yep.
So you're holding on and then suddenly they're tying your hand up and you're kind of getting wrist locked.
Yep.
They like overhook, underhook.
Here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, and then, boom.
Ushka.
Oh, and then I'm getting thrown, I'm fighting.
Yeah.
So
That's when you pull guard on that bitch.
So, I mean, it's just one of those things. It's like many things. If you haven't done a workout for a while, you come back and you do a workout, it's going to hurt.
Yeah,
Oh
do
my
a lower
God.
body session, your quads are going to be sore.
This was the arthritis session, I'll be honest. I was successful in not getting thrown a bunch, but was not successful in throwing people much.
Yeah, right.
It was fucking frustrating, man. Yeah, it's just one of those things.
Timing and all that shit.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. And, I didn't expect much. But I thought I should be able to ip on a couple people. And I just fucking didn't. Anyway, it's just one of those things, people. I do really aspire to get that judo black belt, but fuck at what cost? I would say it's harder on the body than the jiu-jitsu, and we forget that. To our judo brothers, respect.
And sisters.
Sisters too, yes.
Where are you training? Where's that at?
It's just in a local club in Penrith. I live out in the west now. I'm living in Penrith, which is kind of where I used to kick around as a young man. And it's Penrith has changed. It's got more money now. Still seems to be a similar level of junkies and just crackheads type people, but they've got money now, so there's probably less
Cell
crime.
phones. Nice.
Yeah, they're doing better. They got Starbucks.
Yeah, they don't have to use the public telephone.
No, they're smoking cigarettes and asking you for money, and you're like, dude, that cigarette's worth $3. Like here in Australia, cigarettes are heavily taxed. So a deck of cigarettes, as you might call it, pack of cigarettes, is going to cost you about $40 or $50.
They are, aren't they?
It's crazy.
It's hackers, man.
Yeah. How about you, Josep? What's going on in the world? You're doing some Nogi.
Training wise, I just got back into it this week. I had 2 weeks off because I went school holidays. So we did a little bit of traveling with the fam, which was real nice. Actually, interestingly, we're in Fiji for a week. And I kept getting asked by people, you play rugby?
Nice.
Like huge rugby culture.
Oh yeah, big islanders. Yeah.
And there was a woman that I met. She was like a big, strong looking woman. She said, you play rugby? I said, oh, no. And I always just say, oh, like wrestling, because it's easy to understand.
Easier to explain.
And she said, oh, I do judo. Oh, she said, oh, I did judo. And I was like, oh, wow. And I was like, do you still do it? And she said, no, not anymore, but I used to do it a lot.
Nice.
And anyway, turns out she competed in the Olympics for Fiji.
Oh, wow.
Don't know if she medaled, but yeah, she's national level judoka.
Nice.
Yeah, which is quite cool.
That's cool.
But just got back into it this week. Really been enjoying it, man.
Yeah.
Been enjoying the Nogi. 2 sessions over. I'm training a bit closer to home at Gracie Balmain.
Yep.
Shout out to Joel and to Paul. Paul's my
Smithert.
coach on the days that I go. He's great. He's an awesome Nogi instruction. And, and he's very invested in just making sure everyone gets better. And then I did a little bit of rolling at Jungle Brothers yesterday.
Oh, how was that? Yeah.
That was
Thanks for inviting me, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Last minute, he's like, I was there training a client. Inadvertently, I hadn't communicated that I would necessarily be there. But then Joe's like, oh, we're doing open mat, bro. And I'm like, dude, I'm out the door.
Like, all right, pussy.
Run
Stay
for the
scared.
hills. You better leave.
Yeah, so Nose came through, who
Cool.
trains, he's a brown belt, coaches locally.
Did he bring a mate?
Yeah, so it's quite funny because he coaches at Gracie Botany, which
Yes.
is up the road. And he said, hey, I got a guy who's traveling from Gold Coast, another black belt, who's here. Can I bring him down? I'm like, yeah, bring him down. So we had a nice little session, the three of us. But it was cool. So that guy had been visiting Nose. Nose was like, hey, we're going to roll with this random dude down the street.
Cool.
It was quite cool. Yeah, we had a good sesh.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been enjoying it. Body feels pretty good.
Nice.
Talking about the hands, I've been working a lot on guard retention.
Yes.
And I'm just feeling hip flexors.
Oh, yeah.
I'm actually cramping, not cramping, but I feel it like if I
like a little.
deliberately work my guard for a whole bunch in a roll, I'll come out and be like, oh, like opening my hip back up. Like, oh, I can feel that shit all bunched up in there.
Yeah, you get relief when you open it up.
Yeah.
Man, it's a crazy thing because if you're if you're listening to this, you know the grappling feels, and then you talk to a friend and someone's like, yeah, I just moved a few boxes and I put my back out. You're like, the f is wrong with
picked
you?
a motherfucker up while they were triangling me, bitch.
Bro, I'm bloody Rampage Jackson, my training partner, through the window, bro. Power bombs. That's why my neck is and I can't lift my arm and I can't look you in the eye. But there's a good savage reason. You have no reason. And we justify it. You know, we justify the disablement. But I was doing man shit.
Yeah, it was tough round.
You know, I'm a warrior.
Yeah.
But
I won on advantages.
I definitely would have got 2 points. If it was IBJJF rules, I would have won. But that's the thing. It's crazy because people who are outside of the grappling world kind of don't care. They're like, you always seem a bit, why are you limping? Oh, I didn't tap to the knee bar. I didn't tap. They're like, tap what?
You're like, knee bar, that's a common technique used in the UFC.
Yeah. No
Cage
fucking knee
fighting.
bars.
Yeah.
Don't allow knee bars.
Bro, you know what? Talking about knee bars and leg locks and shit, we touched on this briefly before we started recording, but I feel like there's a desensitization on social media to seeing graphic limb destruction. You often see it, like someone, whatever, that gets their shin broken or something in a fucking toe hold or whatever.
Sure.
And you'll often see like warning graphic content. So you're like, oh, okay. And then, there'll be the caption or whatever will allude to, hey, you're about to see something gnarly. So you can choose. But I'm seeing ones now that are like,
just
kind of just like
reel.
funny. Yeah. Like, oh, crazy shit happening at last weekend's local competition. And then some girl gets her arm inverted, like elbow goes the other way. And you're like, oh, whoa, I didn't need to see that, bro. That's horrendous.
White belts jumping guard and seeing someone just get their knee recode.
That's right. Yeah. Do you feel like there's somehow more of that now?
Well, okay, this is what I'd say.
It's fucking Nogi. That's what it is. You can see that shit break. In the gi, you don't see what happens behind closed doors.
You do see things bend the wrong way and you imagine.
Yeah.
But I think it's reaction videos. This is a phenom in TikTok and social media. You have a split video of one dude's face watching the video and the video itself.
Yeah.
And you have the person be like, oh, damn. Oh, Lord Jesus. Like Bill said, you see that and it's kind of, the reaction is funny, even if the video's kind of terrible, right? And I believe it's very much that culture of here is something, gauge the reaction.
Shock value,
because it's harder to get attention. And so it's either got to be funny or shocking or both.
Yeah.
And I feel like reaction videos are way more up there. Like I've seen injury videos and then seen it later in the feed, the same injury video with a dude's head reacting in the corner. And that has more views than the original video.
Yeah, right.
Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying this because like, oh, social media is to blame. It's just this is how people are consuming media. And that shit is sensational.
Yeah, it is. I mean, look, I don't mind seeing a little bit of it, but I don't think it's, for me personally, I'm like, it's not healthy to be constantly aware of like the fact that your knee could be like fully separated. I'm like, I don't need visual reminders of that. I go into training, we know bad shit can happen, like injuries are part of the game, but I don't need that visual reinforcement a couple times a week.
Yeah.
I remember at Grapple Mania, I think there was that really bad shoulder dislocation.
Okay.
Guy didn't tap to a Kimura.
Oh, yes.
It was like a blue belt or some shit. And it
you
was like,
heard it.
Yeah, and he's like, oh. And apparently everyone in the room was like, oh, God. And even like, I think Murillo was competing afterwards. I think he was shook by it. And he was like, it was actually hard to compete, to bring the energy because I was still kind of rattled from seeing that kid get his shoulder busted up.
It's distasteful. But also, play with fire, you're going to get burned.
Jiu-jitsu, man.
That's the game, people. I think it's just because we weren't as aware of it before. The shit was happening.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It was happening every week, everywhere. It was just we were,
It does happen more though now, I think, with the, like, I would say that the competitive style of jiu-jitsu is hold out longer. Like you see a lot of people now that just don't tap. Whereas back in the day.
No. I think the let it snap mentality was greater back in the day.
Nah, but not at blue belt. No, you saw it at high level competition. Absolutely. They're like, I'm not fucking tapping to this. You see, like world class black belt shit gets broken. But like at that like neighborhood competition level, now you're seeing people who are like, I don't fucking tap. And I think that's
maybe
itself.
I don't necessarily think it's that. I think there's two huge elements here. One, we talked about this before, submission only. So, of course, there's going to be far more submissions going. Like,
Yeah.
people are fighting for submissions
Like
more
if I tap,
because that's the thing. Whereas before, you could just win on a sweep. Oh, I'm just going to stall. You know, like
True.
So there's the greater prevalence of submission game. But then also, it's not just social media making us aware. It's just more people doing jiu-jitsu, man.
Yeah.
There was just way less people, way less comps. There wasn't a Grapple Mania. There wasn't a Friday night fights. There wasn't super fights. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's just way more events promoting way more activity, and there's a byproduct of us seeing more injuries. That's what I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that too.
Cool. Alrighty.
Hey, you know something I realized? I don't know if we're doing this. Are we telling the people that watch this on YouTube to subscribe to our channel?
We do from time to time, not every episode.
Because if you're watching this on YouTube, you need to subscribe to our channel.
Please.
Actually, here's a thing. If you're listening to this or watching it, you need to tell someone about this show.
Share it.
Hey friend, listen to this. We're trying to grow the show. We're trying to hit a bit of a record.
We are.
What's the number we're going for by the end of this year?
Our goal is to hit 100,000 downloads in a month.
In a month.
Which is, we're getting up, but we're not quite there.
We're like 2/3 of the way there-ish.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
And what we love is how much positive feedback and support we get from you. And that's awesome. It's super cool. And people always like, yo, how can I pay you back? Or how can I thank you for this? And it's like,
Send me your ACL.
I need another. No, just share it with a friend because, word of mouth is the best way to get it out there. And, that allows us to keep doing this thing. So please share with a friend, and that means the world to us.
Boss. See you next time.